Hello, Jenny Lynn here with Fusion. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about proper prep when you're going to be working on a piece, a little bit on your brush and how to apply the paint to make sure that you're going to get a really nice smooth application. So first and foremost, you have to look at what you're applying it onto. What's the surface and condition of it? Is it rough? Is there dust on it? Is it very shiny? Is there a wax? You want to make sure that you prep your surface. Take some time to make sure that it's in good condition. So good condition means no wax. If there's paint chipping or peeling off, you'll want to sand that away because anything you add on top of it is only going to compound any issues that you might currently have with that piece. This piece here definitely has some sort of a lacquer on it. I got it on sale and it's going to be a cute little coat rack, so not a huge piece. So what I'm going to use is my small brush. Now I've been using this brush for a little while. It's looking a little bit sad right now, but if you're going to be using a new brush, you always want to give a little tug on the hairs just to make sure there's no extra hairs that are ready to fall out there. So that way when you're painting, you don't get the hairs into your piece. Typically it's a good idea to sand if it's shiny. You really just want to give the paint something to dig into and really bind to. Now, Fusion mineral paint is 100% acrylic, which means that the resin of 100% acrylic is the strongest, most binding resin on the market. This means excellent adhesion, and it also means no top coat is required because it has a consistent cohesive surface and finish. Now I'm going to use ash here, and you want to dip your brush in and get enough paint on the brush so that you can easily lay it down and let the paint do the work for you. So I'm going to apply. Now I see right now I've created a lot of brush strokes. Why? Because I've used a little bit too much paint. I just did an application here about 2-3 minutes ago. You can see there's virtually no lines here at all. I had a little less paint on my brush. So once again, I'm sort of evaluating the situation. So I'll use a fair bit of paint in here and get it into the creases and the edges, but clearly that is way too much paint to have on there. So I'm actually going to take some of it off. You can blot it off onto a paper if you have, wipe it back into your container if you wish. You have to be careful, you don't want to contaminate your container, so that's not typically recommended, but I'm almost done that container, so I'll be recycling that soon. So as soon as I took a little bit off of my brush, it actually made it much nicer. So it will take a little bit of practice to find out exactly how much you should have on your brush, but remember these brushes hold a lot of paint. If there's too much, going to leave a couple marks there for you. So I'm very happy with that. The paint is fairly self-leveling, but it's important to understand that your application and touch will really play a factor in terms of any lines or brush strokes, or brush marks rather. If you're really struggling with brush strokes, what you can do is use a foam roller, but that will actually add a couple little stipples and bubbles to your surface. You can spray it as well with a standard sprayer that's on the market. But what might work best for you as well could be a foam brush. Those typically don't leave any bubbles behind, but you always want to go back and just make sure within about a minute after that there's no pooling or you didn't accidentally leave a line there that you didn't see. Don't play with it too much, don't go back and forth too much. Don't press too hard either. If you press down and you drag, see how I'm just dragging? I'm pulling the paint away, and I've actually created streaks in it. So once again, it really all comes down to the application there. You can fix that pretty quickly. There we go. So I'm satisfied with that. I'm gonna let that dry. I don't think I'm going to need a second coat, so the next technique I'm going to work on is with the white gilding paste. If you have any questions at all about brush technique or the paints, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and can't wait to see you for our next video.